At 72, I woke one morning feeling weaker than ever before. My body felt stiff, energy gone, movement slow and heavy. But the next morning, something changed completely, and the reason was just one simple glass of water moment. Can something as simple as water really change your body? Why are more people over 60 suddenly talking about this morning habit? Why do most people do it the wrong way without even realizing it? By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what happened and how to do it. Low energy in the morning. Joint stiffness and slow digestion are common problems. Many people skip water after waking up. They go straight to tea or coffee instead. This leads to overnight dehydration in the body. During sleep, the body loses water naturally. Organs slow down without proper hydration. But I did not realize this until one small change happened me to notice. One morning I felt unusually weak and tired. I decided to drink a full glass of water before anything else. At first it felt like nothing changed, but I noticed slight freshness and easier movement. Day by day, I started feeling better and more active. At first, I thought it coincidence. One morning, I woke up feeling unusually weak, as if my body had lost its usual support overnight. Even getting out of bed felt heavier than normal. My joints felt stiff, my legs moved slowly, and there was a strange sense of fatigue that I could not explain. I sat there for a moment wondering why this was happening more often now. That was the moment something inside me made a small decision that would later feel important. I walked to the kitchen, and instead of reaching for tea or coffee like I usually did, I chose to drink a full glass of water before anything else touched my stomach. At first, nothing dramatic happened, but I noticed a very slight freshness spreading through my body. My head felt a little clearer, and my movements became slightly easier as I walked back to my room. It did not feel like a miracle, but it also did not feel like nothing. There was a subtle change that I could not ignore. It was as if my body had been quietly waiting for something simple like this. I did not know it then, but this small action was the beginning of a pattern that would slowly change how I felt every single morning. On the second day, I repeated the same habit. Again, I drank a full glass of water before anything else. This time, I noticed something more noticeable. The stiffness in my body was slightly less intense. My movements were not as slow, and getting up from bed felt a bit easier. It was still not a huge transformation, but it was enough to make me pay attention. I started wondering if this was just my imagination, or if something real was actually happening inside my body. By the 3rd to 5th day, the changes became clearer. My digestion started feeling better, and I no longer felt that heavy discomfort after meals. My body felt more balanced in the mornings, and the stiffness that usually stayed for hours started reducing earlier in the day. I began moving more freely without thinking too much about pain or tiredness. It was during this phase that I started noticing a pattern that I could not easily ignore anymore. After one full week, the difference was undeniable. I had more energy while walking, doing household tasks, and even during simple daily routines. I was not getting tired as quickly as before, and there was a lightness in my body that I had not felt in a long time. For the first time in many months, I felt a sense of control over my own energy levels again. It almost felt like my body was responding differently to the start of each day. At first, I thought it was just a coincidence. I kept telling myself that maybe it was just a good week, or that my body was simply having a temporary improvement. But the feeling did not go away. Every morning followed the same pattern of small improvement. Slowly, a feeling of hope started building inside me again after a long time of accepting weakness as normal. But then I almost stopped. A thought entered my mind that maybe this was too simple to actually work. How could something as basic as a glass of water make such a difference in how I felt every day? I began questioning whether I was just imagining the improvement instead of actually experiencing it. People around me also made me doubt the habit. They said it is just water and it cannot do much for the body. Some even laughed and told me that real health changes require medicine or exercise, not something so ordinary. Hearing this made me question my own experience even more. Inside me, a struggle began. One part of me wanted to continue because I was feeling better. The other part of me kept asking whether I was wasting time on something meaningless. Should I continue this habit? Or should I stop and go back to my old routine without thinking too much about it? And then something happened that made me rethink everything. A moment came that completely challenged my doubts and forced me to look at this simple habit in a very different way. One morning I woke up without the usual stiffness that had been part of my life for years. It felt strange at first because my body felt lighter, more active, and surprisingly comfortable. I sat there for a moment trying to understand what was different about this day compared to all the others. There was a sudden emotional shift inside me. I realized that my body was responding in a way it had not responded in a long time. I could move more freely, stand more easily, and feel more awake without forcing myself. It felt like a small burden had been lifted without any warning. That was when I understood this was not just water. It was not about something magical or extraordinary, but about how something so simple could create such a consistent effect on my body when done properly every day. A small daily habit had slowly turned into a noticeable life change. It was not sudden or dramatic, but steady and real. My mornings were no longer something I feared because of stiffness and fatigue. When I looked deeper into it, I learned that water helps rehydrate the body after 6 to 8 hours of sleep. During the night, the body naturally loses fluids, and in the morning, it needs replenishment to function properly again. Proper hydration improves blood flow, which helps oxygen reach different parts of the body more efficiently. It also activates metabolism, allowing the body to wake up and start functioning at a better pace. Water also supports joint lubrication, which reduces stiffness in the body. It helps digestion by preparing the stomach and intestines for food intake, making the entire system feel smoother and lighter. The correct way is simple. Drink water immediately after waking up before tea or coffee. It is better if the water is lukewarm because it is easier for the body to absorb and process. This is not magic. It is not an instant cure. The real key is consistency. Doing it every single day allows the body to gradually respond and improve over time. Sometimes, the biggest changes in life come from the simplest habits we ignore. We often look for complicated solutions when the answer is already something basic and available to us every day. Good health does not always require complex routines or expensive treatments. Sometimes small, consistent actions are enough to create meaningful improvements in how we feel. Even after 70 years of age, small daily actions can still rebuild strength and energy. The body is always capable of responding when given the right support. It is never too late to start taking care of your body, no matter how old you are or how long you have ignored it. If this story surprised you, you are not alone. Many people do not realize how powerful simple habits can be until they experience it themselves. You should also watch my video on simple morning habits after 60, where I explain more small changes that can improve daily life. Try this tomorrow morning and notice the difference in how your body feels throughout the day. Thanks for watching.